Good afternoon and welcome to Detweiler Park for the IHSA Boys and Girls Cross Country Championships. How you doing, everybody? I'm Mark Pinsky. My partners this day between them have won 3 state titles. First of all, Marty B., currently the athletic director at Naperville Central. He won a girls title at Naperville North back in 1993. Lester Hampton out of Normal U High. He'll be our Class A analyst. Marty, we start with you and talk about the AA races. First of all, we'll have those 2 contests a bit later on during our broadcast. Wide open as far as the boys are concerned, huh?
AA should be the most exciting boys race in years, with no fewer than 6 teams having a shot at the state title.
And everyone likes Palatine for the girls, right?
Palatine looks good, but St. Charles is a relative newcomer coming down for the 2nd time and looks to unseat Palatine.
Marty will be our analyst again for the AA competition. First up today, the girls Class A race. We go to Lester Hampton. Lester, our expert here. And Lester, for the girls, Heidi Knapp, she's got to be the favorite.
I guess I definitely would say that Heidi's probably the favorite. She's run strong all year, and I wouldn't expect her to do any differently today.
Heidi Knapp, a sophomore out of Eureka High School. We'll also see Elena Chrisman, a junior from Rushville. Stacy Sullivan, a junior out of Petersburg Porta. Talk about those 2 young ladies.
Stacy and Elena should be challengers, top challengers today in the girls' Class A race. They ran at our sectional at Muhammad Seymour, and they battled to the wire, so I expect for them to be right up there with Heidi and give her a really good race today.
So, of course, we have individual as well as team competition. As far as the teams are concerned, we start with the Hirscher Tigers. They're coached by Scott Stevens.
Yes, Hirscher is ranked 2nd coming in. Hirscher has taken home a state title before, so they have that experience of having been here before.
We'll also see Delavan Tremont as well as Winnebago. You talk about an experience. Winnebago has won 3 titles in a row, also 4 of the last 7.
Yes, first, Delavan has run strong all year, and I expect for them to do so today. Winnebago, of course, although they come in ranked 6th, they've won 3 straight titles in a row, and you can never count out a defending champion, so they should be right up there today.
All right, we're about set to go. The Class A girls competition coming up. Stay with us right here on Sports Channel for the first of our 4 races. All right, the girls Class A race, and they're off. Our starter, Jerry Katz, and here they come, Lester Hampton. Talk about the strategy off the bat in terms of teams. You got to pack your group, huh?
I think off the bat, the strategy that you want to use, if you're concentrating on a team race, you want to try to get your runners together, and you want to try to go out at a pace in which you've gone out all year.
Different teams have different tactics off the bat, right?
Yeah, some teams are fortunate enough to have runners that can stay close together. Others may have to break up their packs a little bit, but basically off the line you're looking to get into a good rhythm and a good pace and not go out too fast.
Different teams, of course, have different starting blocks. When you're coaching a team, is there a block you prefer?
Of course, as a coach, and I think as a runner, you would prefer a spot on the outside. That way you don't have to work your way through as much traffic as if you're in the middle. You always try to get to the inside. It allows you the opportunity to run a little bit freer.
All right, now you can see the fans behind all these runners. Basically what they're doing is trying to find a better spot now off the start to come and view this race.
Yeah, the cross-country meet in Illinois has become quite a spectacle. As you can see, the traffic going back and forth from one side to the other. Most of the fans want to be on the west side as they're going up this hill, but as soon as they go by, they head to the east side. So they're constantly moving back and forth.
Talk about the pace off the beginning, Lester. Are these girls off to a quick start? Does it normally become a sprint the first few hundred yards?
I wouldn't say a sprint, but I'd definitely say it's a state meet, and you probably go out a little bit faster than you normally would like to, but you have to guard against going out too fast. Remember, it is a 2.1-mile race, and you don't want to use all your energy early on.
Off the bat, Elena Chrisman, number 571. She started at 15D. She's in the yellow and purple, the junior from Rushville. We talked about her at the top. A transfer from Beardstown, which is about 12 miles away.
Yes, Elena is off and running strong early. She was a front runner at sectional and looked pretty good. Looked like she decided she must be a front runner, and here she is right here leading the pack.
With her is Heidi Knapp, the sophomore from Eureka, in the Kelly green and white. We talked about her at the Open. Second last year at 12:09, a second behind Susan Gibson, the winner from Westland High School. Heidi Knapp, a state track champ in the 3200 as well as the 1600 run. We're at the 1 mile mark, 5:38, 5:39, 5:40, 5:44, 5:45, and the clock continuing to move here. So again, Lester, we've passed the 1 mile mark. How about their pace, about 5:40?
I think that's an excellent pace for these young ladies who are leading the race right now. Of course, as we've mentioned several times, now it's a three-girl race with all the favorites that we spoke of previously. You have Stacy Sullivan up there, you have Elena Chrisman, and you have Heidi Knapp. It's become a three-individual race.
Other teams to speak of, Sandwich in the orange and black, Bishop McNamara, coached by Kenny Clipp from Kankakee, the Fighting Irish in green and gold. They were second last year in the state championship, took second in the ACC sectional. Rock Island Alleman also has a good team, as does Carlinville, coached by Dave Jokish, the Terriers.
Yes, all those teams that you mentioned, we're looking for to be right up there today as they get ready to head into the North Loop.
Right now, we're heading into the North Loop. Your leader is Elena Chrisman at 5:71. Stacy Sullivan from Petersburg Porta out there as well. Heidi Knapp, too. Stacy Sullivan has asthma. She ran 12:23 at the state meet back in 1994. Also won the Amboy Invitational. She beat Heidi Knapp by 10 seconds. Lester, right now you get a good look at some of the individuals that are going through. Can you get a glimpse of what teams are doing well at this point?
I think so far, Mark, it seems to be a little bit spread out. I've seen a couple of runners from Delavan, a couple of runners from Carlinville go in. I just saw about 2 or 3 runners from Winnebago. So right now, as it shapes up, it looks like it could be anyone's race.
Elena Chrisman with the lead. Stacy Sullivan right there with her as we head towards the finish here. The first race at Detweiler Park. Mark Pinsky alongside Lester Hampton. Just about getting out of the wire right here, heading towards the chute.
It's just a battle now to the finish line. They're side by side coming up the hill.
Stacy Sullivan out of Petersburg Porta. She had a teammate in 1991, Heather Hollis, who win the championship. Sullivan taking second at the Peoria Invitational back in September. Second at the Peoria Notre Dame Invite, and at Detweiler as well. 11:42, 11:43, 11:44, 11:45, and it looks as though Elena Chrisman is going to win it. Chrisman has a slight lead right now over Stacy Sullivan. Chrisman from Rushville at the finish line, and she wins on officially a time of 12:04. Right behind her, Stacy Sullivan, and now the race for third place.
Heidi Knapp and Janelle Berkey.
This is Heidi Knapp. Heidi Knapp going to finish third. After her, Janelle Berkey. Janelle Berkey from Stanford Olympia took third at the Muhammad Seymour sectional, a time of 12:58. Some of the other runners crossing the finish line right now. In terms of teams, Lester, do you have an idea who might be doing well?
It seems to be still pretty spread out, Mark. A couple of runners from Delavan, a couple of runners from Winnebago has come in. Got 2 or 3 runners from Carlinville.
All right, we'll take a timeout. Then from here, we'll go to Peoria High School for the girls Class A award ceremony. We'll also hear from the winning individual as well as the winning coach. Stay with us on Sports Channel. Back with more momentarily. So here are your official girls Class A individual times. Jessica Hall takes 5th place. The sophomore from Delavan comes in at 12:31. Janelle Berkey, a sophomore from Stanford Olympia, comes in 4th place at 12:30. Heidi Knapp, the sophomore out of Eureka High School, takes 3rd. Her time, 12:29. Stacy Sullivan, the junior from Petersburg Porta, comes in 2nd, just 1 second behind the winner, Elena Chrisman, the junior from Rushville. I talked to Elena about winning the title. You came in 2nd at the Muhammad Seymour sectional. You also lost to Heidi Knapp at the Peoria Heights Invite. You were 23 seconds behind Heidi.
Yeah.
So something took over where you were able to beat both of those girls.
Yeah, I guess I just believed in myself more today, and I'm like, I know I can do this. I had to keep telling myself, I can do this, you know, and that's really the only way to win, is to believe in yourself, because I knew I wasn't favored in this race. I'd lost to both those girls. I mean, it kind of went back and forth. I'd beat Stacy a few times, she'd beat me, but I'd only raced Heidi once and lost. So I just had to keep telling myself, I can do this, and I did it.
So here are your official team results in the girls' Class A cross-country meet. Pittsfield comes in 5th place with 158 points. Delavan in 4th with 146. 3rd place to Sandwich, a total of 133 points. Carlinville takes 2nd at 126. Hirscher, your champion, at 121 points. Jill Muller finishing 4th. Stephanie Bone takes 13th. They are state champions. They're 3rd in the 90s, also winning in 91 and 92. I talked to Hirscher head coach Scott Stevens. Scott, you had 2 runners in the top 13, Jill Miller and Stephanie Bone. They really set the pace for your team.
Yeah. Jill's a sophomore. She was 12th last year. You know, we needed her. 10 minutes before we ran, I said, you're going to be in the top 10. That's where you've got to be. And I told Bone she can be in the top 25. So she had 24th overall place. And the rest of the girls, you know, I said we're 30th to 50th, somewhere in there. And most of them did about what I expected. And that's the half the battle down here.
Wow, welcome back to Detweiler Park here in Peoria. Mark Pinsky alongside Lester Hampton, the coach at Normal U High. We're all set now for the boys Class A race. The favorite, Peter Muller, senior from Chicago U High. Talk about Peter's running ability.
I think Peter is an outstanding runner. Of course, he's defending state champion in 2-mile and track. So I definitely look for Peter to run a fine race and be right up front today.
Peter recently named the Chicago Tribune Athlete of the Week. He won the Aurora Central Sectional, running 3 miles in 14:33, winning by 32 seconds. Other top runners for the A meet include Robert Hanners from Tuscola, also J.B. Hedges, a senior from Seneca High School.
Yes, you would have to definitely put J.B. Hedges and Robert Hanners as individual title contenders. Robert Hanners from Tuscola is a sophomore, has run strong all year. J.B. Hedges from Seneca actually is a runner who transferred from Normal High School in Normal, Illinois, and now he's running at Seneca, and he has a chance to win state title today.
Other good runners that we'll see, perhaps among the top 3, 4, maybe top 5, include Matt Kaufman, a senior from Eureka High School, Sean Sullivan, a senior from Kankakee Bishop McNamara, Zach Hollis from Petersburg Porta, also T.J. Zimmerman from Petersburg Porta as well. So in terms of team and what we might see as far as the team competition is concerned, we start with the Kewanee Boilermakers. They're coached by Frank Tucha.
I think Kewanee is definitely one of the favorites here today. I think one of the outstanding qualities of their team is their split between their 1- and 5-man is really close, so that will make them one of the contenders for today's race.
The defending champions are the Petersburg Porta Blue Jays, coached by Jim Brower. They won state titles in 1995, also 1979. They're always strong here in Peoria.
Yes, Petersburg has a proud tradition. Of course, as you said, they are defending champions, and when you are defending champions, I think that adds a little bit more and gives you a little bit more incentive.
Other teams to watch include the Eureka Hornets, the Aurora Central Catholic Chargers, and the Knights from Breese Mater Dei. All right, let's go to the starting line. We're all set for the boys Class A meet. All right, the boys Class A championship meet now underway. Mark Pinsky alongside Lester Hampton, the coach at Normal U High. Again, the people at Peoria High School hosting the meet, doing an outstanding job. Christopher Perry, also Richard Green from the IHSA, Sue Hendrickson. We saw our starter a moment ago, Jerry Katz. We're aboard the 169th Air Control Party Flight, which is based out of Peoria. And for the boys, Lester, is the strategy any different getting out of the blocks?
I don't think the strategy is any different, Mark. Again, your main concern coming out of the blocks is trying to get in a good position, establish a good running position by trying to work your way to the outside, and you're worried about, of course, your pace.
Coming up right now in the 1 mile mark, 4:33, 4:34, 4:35, 4:36. We're at the 1 mile mark right now. 4:42 is your 1 mile point. Again, your leader, Peter Muller, 4:53. Running with him right now is J.B. Hedges, the senior out of Seneca. Hedges wearing green and gold, Muller and white with maroon. You notice the two of them have differences in terms of their clothing style. Muller dressed a little bit more warmly.
Yeah, I think it varies from year to year how much clothes each individual runner decides to wear. Some kids feel that they need some clothing items on underneath their uniform, whereas other runners come out and they feel that all they need is their uniform.
Right now they're heading towards the north loop of the Detweiler Park course. You see the two runners go through, first Muller and then J.B. Hedges.
And you have
Robert Hanners is next. How about a team now, a feel for the team competition, Lester?
It's still a little bit early yet, but just looking at the runners as they go into the loop, you can see a couple of runners from Petersburg Porter head into the loop.
J.B. Hedges, the senior from Seneca, continues to lead Peter Muller. Again, we're feeding the public address system here, and I've been told by some folks in the Chicago area, U-High fans, that the correct pronunciation is Muller. So we'll go with that the rest of the way. So J.B. Hedges now with a fairly commanding lead right now over Peter Muller. We're at 11:30 now, 11:31, 11:32, 11:33.
Yes, Mark, right now Peter has kind of, J.B. has kind of separated himself from Peter. Again, J.B. is a transfer from Norman Community High School in Bloomington, Norman area. And he's a senior runner for Seneca now, and he's kind of decided, I think, he wants to take a shot at a state championship.
How's his efficiency? How's his form right now?
I would say he's looking pretty good right now. His arms seem to be very effective. Of course, you want your arms to flow nicely in rhythm with your legs. As long as you're pumping the arms, it kind of keeps the legs moving. And right now, he's looking pretty strong.
J.B. Hedges with the lead over Peter Muller, and the third and fourth place runners right now way off the pace.
Yeah, it's, Matt Kaufman is back in third right now, and Robert Hanners is in fourth.
12:21, 12:24, 12:25. You hear the guy over the megaphone barking the instructions. That's for the runners so they can know their time.
Yes, that is the time of the race right now, but as you can see, J.B. Hedges is still out in front, but Peter Muller from Chicago U-High by no way is out of this race. J.B. is still looking over his shoulder. Peter is right behind him about 5 yards, and we still have ourselves a pretty good race.
How's their pace for this type of meet?
I think the pace was really strong for the first mile. As you can see at the 2-mile mark, it seemed to have slowed a little bit. But as you can see now, it's Muller has come up on J.B.'s shoulder.
Muller making his move, and on the outside, he passes J.B. Hedges. So Peter Muller from Chicago U-High wearing 4.53. He has the lead, and Muller looks pretty strong now down the stretch. It seems as though he was kind of waiting to make his move.
Yeah, as I talked earlier about that kind of strategy, some guys like to run out front, whereas others like to hang off the shoulder a little bit and wait to the right moment to put their kick in. Right now, coming down the home stretch, of course, kick is important, but now it's a matter of who wants it the most.
13:35, 13:36, 13:37, Peter Muller, the senior from Chicago U-High. He won the Aurora Central Sectional. Won by 32 seconds, breaking the course record. He looks awfully strong as we head towards the chute. Muller won the Phoenix Invite by 57 seconds. He's been strong all year long, and now he's putting it in gear. Peter Muller has stretched out over J.B. Hedges. Muller just a moment ago looking behind him to see where Hedges was.
Yes, he just wanted to check and see how much distance he had. As you can see now, he's put it into another gear. His arms are pumping really strong, his knees are lifting really high, and I think he's headed for the finish line.
The Class A boys meet heading towards the finish line. Peter Muller, the senior from Chicago U-High, 17 years old, out of Hyde Park, Illinois. He came in 10th at the state meet a couple years ago. Right now, he has really opened up a big lead over J.B. Hedges. Peter Muller going to win the Class A boys meet. Muller crossing the finish line unofficially a time of 12. Make that 14:45, 14:46. Here comes J.B. Hedges out of Seneca High School. His unofficial time will read 14:57. And now the race for third as well as fourth place. 4.76 is Robert Hanners, a sophomore out of Tuscola. He won the Muhammad Seymour Sectional. Behind him, Matt Kaufman, the senior out of Eureka. Kaufman going to finish under 15:30. His unofficial time, 15:22. Several more runners now crossing the finish line. Once again, the team competition a bit too tough to call. We'll go to Peoria High School for the award ceremony right after this. Stay with us here on Sports Channel. And here are your official individual results for boys Class A in the cross-country championship meet. Kevin Bailey, a junior from Westmont, comes in 5th place. His time, 15:28. Matt Kaufman, the senior from Eureka, takes 4th at 15:23. 3rd place to Robert Hanners, the sophomore from Tuscola, winding up at 15:19. J.B. Hedges, the senior from Seneca, comes in 2nd place. His time, 14:58. Your winner, Peter Muller, the senior from Chicago U High, his time, 14:46. I talked to Peter Muller.
I kind of felt a letdown in the middle of the race when Hedges was pulling away from me. I felt I really didn't want to get second, and it was the most painful race I've ever run because I really had to chase him down and pick it up the last half mile. It was just a very difficult race. Hedges ran very well.
So here are your official Class A boys team results. Eureka High School comes in 5th place with 203 points. 4th place to Muhammad Seymour at 154. Petersburg Porta comes in 3rd. Their team total 128. Breese Mater Dei takes 2nd with 104 points. Kewanee High School finishing up with 85 points. They're your state Class A champions in boys competition. Joel Bork came in 5th place. Josh Bird at 11th. Overall, they had a 29-second split. Chase Crabtree finishing 22nd. John Bork 23rd. Andrew Park 24th. I talked to their head coach, Frank Toka. You had a 29-second split. Is that amazing or what?
Well, it's very, very good, but at the Amboy Invitational earlier this year, we had a 6-second split where we just packed in guys from 14 to 20 before you knew it hit them. But we preach, and you can see on our shirts, pack and black, and we really teach that pack mentality. But I think any coach would just love to have a split like that in a state meet, where your kids found each other at the end and we came together, and that's what we're looking for.
All right, welcome back to Detweiler Park in Peoria. We're all set now for the girls AA race. Mark Pinsky alongside Marty B. from the Illinois Prep Top Times. And Marty, when you look at the AA girls, you start with Rebecca Mitchell from Geneva High School, a freshman, yet she's undefeated this year.
Rebecca really came on. She's the freshman phenom this year. She's got great leg speed and great endurance, and she hasn't been beaten this year.
A couple other younger girls to watch. Tara Moody, a sophomore from St. Charles High School. Also, Kristen Worth, a sophomore from Bloomington High School. She took 2nd place in the state meet a year ago.
Yeah, Tara Moody and Rebecca Mitchell are good friends. And if they get too caught up, I think, in racing each other, look for Kristen Worth to sneak up on them.
All right, we talked at the Open about the Palatine Pirates. They've got a couple of great runners, and Holly Fearing, also Sharice Lancaster, a couple of juniors.
And Palatine has great tradition. They run 5 times in the last 7 years. The other 2 times they were 2nd. Steve Kearns gets his kids ready to run down here.
As does Tom Roderick from St. Charles. The Saints won the East Aurora sectional, beating York 50-90. They'll be tough.
St. Charles is kind of the new kid on the block. It's their 2nd time down here. They were here last year for the first time. Gained a lot of experience last year.
Other teams to watch include York as well as the Red Wings from Bennett Academy. We're all set now for the girls AA race. Let's go now to the starting line. Mark Pinsky alongside Marty B. Welcome back to Detweiler Park. The girls AA race is underway. The Palatine Pirates, coached by Steve Kearns, starting on the 17th box. And when you talk about different boxes, Marty, is there an advantage either way?
I don't know that there's an advantage. I know Palatine will be ready to start no matter where they're at. They have a lot of experience, and I think that's the key, is you have experience down here and you know where to run. As you see them coming down here, you notice there are seams, and they're kind of grouped in about 3 or 4 different places right now.
When you guys came down here in 1993 at Naperville North, your girls started from the first block. Did you think that was an advantage then?
Again, I didn't think it was an advantage. It was probably a disadvantage, but our girls handled it really well and were well prepared for it. And, you know, the key to it is you want to get through this first turn without getting pushed into the middle, into the inside of the turn.
It seems to me as though if you run from the middle, you may be at a disadvantage.
Well, as everybody kind of scrunches in the middle there, it gets pretty crowded. So you want to get yourself safely through this first turn, and a lot of kids will stay to that outside or inside.
See the packing as well, and that's very important as far as the team is concerned. You want to have a close split to win this thing.
Right, you certainly want to have your top 5 kids as close together as possible, and it certainly helps to come out of the start and have a teammate around you and to try to run off your teammates.
Coming up to the first turn right now, it obviously gets a great deal more narrow here. How about the weather? Right now it's 39 degrees, a slight breeze off of the Peoria River. I know in past years the weather here has been brutal.
This is the first year in about 5 or 6 years that we've seen the sun, and it's been dry. So this is a real blessing and a real treat for the kids and the coaches and especially the fans out here.
Your time is 5:10, 5:11, 5:12 as Rebecca Mitchell storms ahead of the 1 mile mark. Can you tell, Marty, who's behind her?
Well, it looks like we've got a Palatine girl back there, and Tara Moody's back there in about 4th place.
When you talk about Palatine, it's most likely Holly Fearing, if not Therese Lancaster, both juniors. Lancaster came in 2nd place to teammate Holly Fearing at the Schaumburg sectional. She ran 11:48 there. Lancaster came in 32nd place at the state meet last year. She's been improving all year long. As for Holly Fearing, she won the Schaumburg sectional at Bussey Woods in 11:45. The team won that sectional title. She came in 26th last year at the state meet running 12:16, and it seems as though Rebecca Mitchell has a lot of fans out here.
She certainly has taken control of this race early, and she does no sign of letting up here.
How's her efficiency?
She looks very smooth and very comfortable right now.
Right now, Rebecca Mitchell will head and lead the group into the North Loop. Mitchell running well, and now we'll get a chance, a feel, if you will, for some of the team and the competition that's going on there. There's Kristen Worth running 2nd, and then another runner coming through 3rd. There's a better runner.
And 3rd was Annie Wetterhouse from Morton High School.
Annie Wetterhouse, a senior from Morton High School, came in 3rd in the Peoria Invite, won the East Peoria Regional. Came in 28th last year at the state meet, a time of 12:20. She also came in 2nd at the Rockford East Sectional. How about the team stuff?
Well, right now it looks like what we said earlier. St. Charles and Palatine look like they're running very well. After that, it's up for grabs.
We're at the 2 mile mark right now. 10:54, 10:55, 10:56. Here comes your leader, Rebecca Mitchell, out of Geneva High School. Mitchell heading towards the finish line with a huge lead.
And she's running a great time. The meet record here is 11:30 by Erin Bowen from McHenry.
She's at 11:15 right now. Here comes Rebecca Mitchell going for a state record. Again, the record is?
Record will be 11:30.
She's at 11:24, 11:25. She may break the record. Unofficially, she crosses at 11:29. It could be a new AA girls record. In the meantime, here's your race for 2nd place.
This is Kristen Worth coming up, finishing strong, and Annie Wetterhouse right behind her.
5:02 is Kristen Worth, the sophomore out of Bloomington High School, wearing 5:24. Annie Wetterhouse from Morton High School. She won the East Peoria Regional. And now the race for 4th place.
Tara Moody will finish 4th from St. Charles.
Moody finishing 4th. She came in 2nd at the Fenton Regional. And now some of the team competition becomes awfully interesting here.
And we have 2 St. Charles kids who've already finished. There's our first Palatine runner finishing.
Here comes a Barrington runner, now a York runner. A Palatine runner coming through awfully strong, passing some people too. So the team competition once again exciting. We'll take a time out here on Sports Channel, then head to Peoria High School for the award ceremony and hear from the winning coach as well as from Rebecca Mitchell. Stay with us here on Sports Channel. Here are your official girls individual Class 2A times. Katie Cantrell, the sophomore from Normal Community, comes in 5th place. Her time, 12:02. Also at 12:02, the sophomore from St. Charles, Tara Moody. She takes 4th place. Annie Wetterhouse, a senior from Morton, comes in 3rd. Her time officially 11:53. Kristen Worth takes 2nd again. She did it as a freshman, also as a sophomore. the sophomore from Bloomington High School, at 11:49. First place goes to freshman sensation Rebecca Mitchell from Geneva High School. Mitchell at 11:30 officially. That ties a state record set by Aaron Boland of McHenry back in 1990. I talked to Rebecca about her outstanding run. Rebecca, you tied the AA state record set by Aaron Boland of McHenry back in 1990. Did you know what the record was, and did you realize towards the end how close you were to the finish?
Well, my coach and I had gone over the records, and we had thought about it, and we'd looked last night, and I knew, and I could hear the announcer talking on loudspeakers, and I just looked and I thought, oh, just push it that extra little bit to get in there.
So here are your official team standings now in the girls' AA cross-country championship meet. New Lenox Lincoln Wade takes 5th place with 221 points. Bennett Academy from Lisle comes in 4th at 163. Elmhurst York takes 3rd with 152 total points. St. Charles at 131 comes in 2nd. And once again, your girls' AA state cross-country champions are the Palatine Pirates with 101 points. They had a 27-second split. Their top 5 runners including Holly Faring, Sharice Lancaster, Jill Morrill, Christine Jackson, and Christina Strand. I talked to their head coach, Steve Currens. Steve, your split was 27 seconds. Was that about where you wanted it to be coming in?
That's better than we've had all year. We've been running probably closer to 40, 42, 44 last week, I think. So I was pretty excited about the split today. In fact, I think that may be the second best ever in this race. Last year we had a 10-second split, which is unheard of, and I think before that it might have been 29 was the best any team that's ever won one. So I was excited about that. But it's something we've been focusing on with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th runners today all year, and they just did a tremendous job. I can't speak enough of them. Christine Jackson just put the race out, and then Jill Morrill went right with her. And Lori Stutzman, a little freshman, was her first state meet, just was right up there all the race. And all of a sudden, Christina Strand just passed 30 people in the last straightaway. I think was a big difference for us.
All right, welcome back to Detweiler Park. And as you can see, fans are all over the place as we get set for the boys' AA race. Sometimes the higher you are, perhaps the better off your view may be. Welcome back. Mark Pinsky alongside Marty B. from the Illinois Prep Top Times, also the athletic director at Naperville Central. Marty, when you talk about the AA boys, you start with the Torres brothers. George from Wheeling, his brother Eduardo as well.
Both sophomores came down here last year. We're 2nd and 11th as freshmen. They're running real well right now. Look for them to be right up in the hunt.
Other guys to look for out of Naperville North, Mark Pilja and David Zabel from Glenmark North. You like him?
David Zabel runs well at the end of the year. Mark Pilja's run well all year. He's a little hurt right now. His teammate Ted Higgins is also running well.
A couple other guys to watch as well, Jesse Barnes as well as Andy Wilgris. And we mentioned at the start of our program the fact that the boys' race was especially tough to handicap. What do you like here?
Well, this is going to be a big one. There's 6 teams that could win it. Crystal Lake South is Crystal Lake Central is the defending state champs. They're running real strong right now. Lockport is almost an identical team to them. Those 2 teams could be real contenders. But there are 4 other teams. Marist could be in there. Don't count out the York Dukes. This has been their meet. There's only been 3 times in history that in the 30 years here that they haven't trophied.
We're about set for the boys' AA race. Let's check on our ride. We've been riding on with this Air Force thing. Hey, wake up, guys. We're ready to roll. Let's go. You guys all set? Yeah. All right, we're with the Air Force. All right, let's get in there. We're ready to roll. Let's go to the starting line. Ready, boys?
Yes, sir.
And we are off. The AA boys underway. Again, the weather conditions outstanding, about 39 degrees and a slight breeze, but it is still sunshine, although it has clouded up a bit later on here in the afternoon. Again, special thanks to Peoria High School and the host, the superintendent, Dr. Griffith, the principal, Richard Green, Chris Perry, the dean of students, and the activities director, also the host coach, Michael Lawless. Sue Hendrickson from the IHSA doing a fantastic job. And how about the shoot aides, the Illinois Valley Striders, Peoria High School faculty members, also the Starved Rock Runners Limited. Special thanks to our crew here on this vehicle, the 169th Air Control Party Flight. How about the boys' strategy out of the gate, Marty?
Well, it's very similar to the girls. You want to get out, but you don't want to get out too fast, and that's kind of tough. You're coming downhill. It's about a quarter mile to this first turn, and the adrenaline is really pumping. So these kids, you know, they have to stay under control. but I think this is one of the best sights in prep sports to see this start with all the colors and all these kids coming down like this.
And with this huge crowd, there's strategy involved for the fans as well. They know they got to go from point A to point B, so this is a workout not only if you're running 3 miles in competition, but also for the fans. They stay loose, they stay warm, to get their exercise in as well. We talked about some of the top teams. Fenton, coached by John Kurtz. They're in light blue and orange. They have 4 potential top 15 runners, including Arturo Cabral, Chris Seamers, Stefano Tomasello, and Don Franzen.
Number 41 is Juan Ortega from Morton, who's got the early lead up here.
The 1 mile mark now, 4:40, 4:41, 4:42, and right now any number of guys still in contention.
We still have David Zabel up here on the outside, moving up towards the front. Jesse Barnes from Batavia is right in the hunt there also with that lead group.
David Zabel, a senior out of Glenbard North, the Panthers and Carroll Stream, second in the East Aurora sectional. He came in 7th at the state meet a year ago with a time of 14:50. He came in second to Pilja at the Crete Monet Powwow.
I also see Mike Lucchese here of York, who's moved up to that front group. And his teammate Dave Walters, I believe, just behind that group.
How about the pace so far?
Pace looks good. They were at, I think, about 4:30 at the mile. It was a good first mile. 3 Lockport Porters right up there in the front group also with 2 kids from York.
There's a Maris runner coming through. George Torres had the slight lead heading into the North Loop.
He's got about a 6-second lead off of Jesse Barnes. He looks real strong right now. His arms are moving well, and he's picking up his speed. He looks real good.
George Torres in control as we head down the stretch, the final turn.
Back in 3rd and 4th, we see Ted Higgins and Mark Pilja from Naperville North running together. Right behind them in 5th place is David Zabel from Glenbard North.
George Torres in control down the stretch. Torres gonna win this race.
2nd place is Jesse Barnes from Batavia. Jesse's working hard to catch him, but Torres looks real strong right now. He's finishing this race real strong.
13:51, 13:52, 13:53. Your unofficial time as we speak. Jesse Barnes trying to close the gap on George Torres. Right now the crowd hoots it up as George Torres approaches the finish line. Torres with a commanding lead coming down the stretch. Jesse Barnes trying to make his move. Barnes easily will finish second. 14:19, 14:20. George Torres, your AA boys winner. Torres unofficially crossing at 14:28. Barnes second. Now the race for 3rd.
Now we have Ted Higgins from Naperville North coming up to finish 3rd, and his teammate Mark Pilger right behind him. Jason Bialka from Lockport, 5th. Looks like Rob Doyle, David Zabel.
There's
the 2nd and
Eduardo
3rd.
Torres finishing in the top 10 as well. So a good run by Wheeling. The 2 Torres in the top 10.
Torres. Lockport has 3 kids in, and Fenton has 2. Here comes the 4th Lockport runner.
Now a York runner coming through as well. We'll come back, tally up the team totals momentarily. Stay with us on Sports Channel. There's still more to come. So here are your official individual results for the boys AA Cross Country Championships. In 5th place, Nick Setta, the sophomore from Lockport, finishing up at 14:46. Mark Pilja, a junior from Naperville North, runs the 3-mile course in 14:43. His teammate, senior Ted Higgins, finishing in 14:42. Jesse Barnes, a senior from Batavia, takes 2nd place. His official time, 14:31. Your winner, George Torres, the sophomore from Wheeling High School. His time, impressive, 14:29. He came in 2nd place last year, losing by just 5 seconds. This year, George Torres is your winner. Last year, you came so close. 2nd place, 5 seconds off the pace. Did you know coming into this season, this would be your year?
During the middle of the season, I kind of questioned myself because of what Pilger did to me. I mean, he pretty much demolished me at the Lake Park Invitational. But I kept on working hard, and I pretty much, towards the end of the season, I felt confident, and my goal was to win it.
So here's how your official team standings stack up. Elmhurst York, coached by Joe Newton, finishes with 178 points. They wind up 5th. Crystal Lake Central, a good meet, and they wind up in 4th place with 136 points. 3rd place goes to Chicago Marist at 133. 2nd place to Fenton at 123. Fenton with 3 in the top 12, including Arturo Cabral, Chris Seamers, and Don Franzen. 1st place, Lockport Township, the Porters, finishing with 73 points. They wind up 4, 8, 11, 21, and 29. Their top 2 runners, Nick Setta and Jason Bialka, a 34-second split. And I talked to their head coach, Larry Thompson. Larry, you guys came a long way. 3rd last year, 1st this year. How's this one feel?
Oh, this feels, it's hard to describe. Last year was ecstasy, the fact that it was like the first time that we were able to even be the pitcher for a trophy. This year, it's tough to put into words because the fact the kids believed from last year that this could be a possibility, and then all they had to do was go out and perform, you know, with the confidence, and they have a lot of ability on this team, and they were able to put it together today.
Hi, welcome back to Detweiler Park here in Peoria. Mark Pinsky alongside Marty B. and Lester Hampton. In our A divisions, Elena Chrisman from Rushville, Peter Muller from Chicago U High, your individual champs.
I was very impressed with those performances today. Again, Elena came in. She was second to Stacy Sullivan at sectional, and she was able to find a little bit extra today and pull out the state championship. And Peter Muller from Chicago U High came in. He was defending 2-mile champion in track, proved that he's the #1 runner in Class A.
All right, in terms of AA, how about Rebecca Mitchell out of Geneva?
Well, for a freshman, she just came out and took control. She jumped out to the lead early and just stayed there and just buried everybody else.
George Torres out of Wheeling, your AA boys winner.
Another youngster, only a sophomore, was second last year. Again, he came out, he took control, and he just took control of the race the whole way.
By the way, I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about doing a little TV? Kind of different than being a coach, huh?
You know, it sure is nice to be able to see all the race and not have to focus on just your kids.
How about you, Lester? What do you think?
I thought it was pretty exciting and a lot of fun. It's a different perspective being able to watch the whole race.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Today's championship event has been produced and directed by Bob Albrecht. The production manager is Sheila Brown. The coordinating producer, Dave Turner. The vice president of programming is Mike Bogad. The preceding has been a co-production of Sports Channel and Intersport Television.